work for, say, your partner or your children or maybe relatives may not work for you as far as eating and lifestyle. So I'm going to talk a little bit about primary foods. Have you guys ever heard of primary foods? Raise your hand if you have. Okay. Primary foods are actually those things that feed us that are not foods at all. They do not come on a plate. These are our relationships, okay? They could be relationships that we have with our partners, with our employers, with our children. How do we communicate with people? Are we involved in toxic relationships? Keeping the lines of communications open. Sometimes we have friends that maybe we've been friends with for a long time, but you know that person is a negative person. When you're around that person, or maybe a coworker, you know, you tend to kind of, they bring you down. So you have to learn how to just kind of put that distance. So it's important that we really nurture those positive and uplifting relationships. So that's one primary food. The second primary food is our exercise, and Dr. Newby talked about that. Exercise is so important. And I'm going to just kind of read the 10 reasons why we should exercise. Exercising keeps you young. It helps reduce infections, prevents heart attacks. We talked about that earlier. It eases asthma. It helps control blood sugar. Protects against cancer. Talked about that. Combats stress. Relieves hot flashes. Protects men's health. And it prolongs life. So it's very important that we exercise. And for me, that is a challenge. Believe me, it is a challenge, but I do know that it is important. And whether you belong to a gym, or whether my mom goes to the mall in the morning and she walks in the mall with a girlfriend, whether you walk in the mall, or whether maybe you're walking up and down your steps at home, but exercising is very important. It helps you maintain that balance. Okay? The third primary food that feeds us is our career. Whether you're in a career that you love, and that is awesome, that's great, or whether you're in a career that you may not like at all. And if you are in a situation or a career that you really don't like, sometimes we have to make the best of situations. So it could be maybe, again, communicating with your supervisor, or maybe not getting along with a colleague or a coworker. But keeping those lines of communications open. Sometimes it may mean maybe a career change. We can't just, resign from our jobs and just, stop working. But putting in steps maybe some things, some changes that you feel you may need to make. The fourth primary food is your spiritual life. It's important that we take time for ourselves, whether you are meditating, whether you pray on a daily basis, whether you're just quieting your mind. I mean, you need to take that time to do that because, again, that spiritual piece is very important. That helps you really maintain balance. Again, the secondary foods are very important. Again, Dr. Newby talked about that, food choices that we make. But when our primary foods are off track, then we tend to overeat. We tend to make poor selections in the foods that we eat, or some people just don't eat at all. So that's very important. So some of the things that I work with my clients is we start out with a health history form. And that's something that I do complimentary. So anyone who's interested, my table is over there. You're welcome to sign up for a free health history consultation. There's no obligation. And what we do is we just kind of go through and look at your goals, look at what you're doing, what you're not doing. What are you eating for breakfast? What are you eating for lunch? What are you eating for dinner? And so just kind of come up with a plan with that. I also have some more information over there on, I address the 5 healthy habits. And some of those things I've already gone over, and that was the exercise. But again, Dr. Newby talked about drinking water. It's important that we drink water. Many times when we get headaches, or if we're not sleeping well, it could be that you're dehydrated. or if you're having skin breakouts, or if you're having a few muscle aches. It could be that you're dehydrated, so you need to really check your water. Also, eating more fruits and vegetables. Of course, growing up, I know my grandmother used to always tell me you need to make sure you eat your vegetables. And I actually was a child that really loved vegetables, but I do have a daughter who is not a big vegetable person. So, but the key, I believe, in really making them good is how we cook them these days. And now there's so many spices out there that you can use, between turmeric and garlic, and just a variety of spices to really spice up your vegetables and not overcooking the vegetables. I mean, boiling your greens for 30 minutes. I mean, you're taking all the nutrients out. So that's something important, too, that you learn how to cook your vegetables to make them taste good. And selecting fruits. This time of year, it's the springtime, so if you go into the grocery store, there's so many fruits and vegetables out there that are not really out, that are not in season. You know, eating foods that are in season as well is really important. And also, healthy snacks, choosing healthy snacks. What I have to do, because I do enjoy eating, if I do not have my snacks when I go to work, I am quick to go to the cafeteria. I work in a school during the day. I will maybe go to the vending machine, but I have learned that I need to make sure that I have fruits, or maybe some nuts, or maybe a rice cake, or maybe a little popcorn, or something like that, or some carrots. So it's important that you eat, you make healthy snack choices as well. And last but not least is having a positive attitude. I think attitude just kind of sums everything up. When you wake up in the morning, it's good. What I do is I have something I call morning pages. I have a journal on my nightstand, and I get up in the morning, and before I even let my feet hit the ground, I'll say my prayer. And I'll write just kind of what's on my mind, the things that I need to do. So when I get up, my mind is not constantly racing. So I'm writing in my morning pages. At night, have a gratitude journal. Write down what you're grateful for that day. You know, give thanks for the good things that happen. We hear so much negative, the news, or even, you know, maybe our children or family could be having issues that we really can't solve. But as adults, we try to solve them. It's good to just kind of write down those things that we're really grateful for and thankful for. So I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys further. You're welcome to come over and take a look at my table. I do have some literature that you can certainly take with you, and also a complimentary health history as well. Thank you.